The College Basketball Experience NCAA Tournament Release Reaction Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, presented by WynnBET. WynnBET's now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today. Bet $100, get $100 free bet. It's wynnbet.com or download the WynnBET app now and start winning today. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by the D-Gen Dance, baby. All right. Our March Madness bankroll contest is back. It's free to enter. $1,000 in cash and prizes are up for grabs. Plus, we've got our first half under bingo. Enter both contests on the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. So grab that thing today. And remember, folks, to let it ride.
What's up, everybody? This is Cameron Krog from Loyola Chicago Ramblers, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride. Shout out to the Broad Stop. Thank you, guys.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the College Basketball Experience NCAA Tournament Bracket Reaction Show. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
I know that college basketball and the NCAA tournament cannot coexist peacefully. Man, what a loaded slate. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former video coordinator for Bob Huggins at West Virginia, Frank Martin at South Carolina, host of the NFL Gambling Podcast, host of the Ryan and Rush Show. Give it up for Ryan McIntyre. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? We have a bracket, and I am here in Vegas.
Oh, yes. I mean, you are already there. You are
Boots
a
on the
savage. Getting there a day early.
Cheers.
Nothing but respect. We also have, if you're wondering, if you're watching this, youtube.com/the college experience, make sure you subscribe over there, folks. Besides also subscribing on Spotify and iTunes. You're going to see a little box with looks like a guy with a microphone there. Little small photo. We have a guy who is in the midst of traveling from Florida to Michigan, if I had to guess. He's probably on the Interstate 95 somewhere. This is like a live news thing, you know. But this guy is the host of the College Baseball Experience. Give it up for Noah Bieniek. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, currently sitting in the car, so sorry about any background noises. But yeah, doing great. I mean, it's really, my favorite time of the year. I love brackets. Grew up fucking making my own brackets, but honestly, I think I had more to say to open it up, but I just can't wait. So I'm at a loss for words.
Yes, and we might have some special guests be joining us shortly to talk about their reaction show. Or to talk about their reaction to the pod, but I guess first we'll talk about the fact that Princeton got it done. Oh, who had Princeton winning the Ivy? Woo! Let's go. We Tigers. Oh, VCU beating Dayton. Oh. Today was a good day. I might have got my ass kicked yesterday, but we were back today. with the exception of Alabama, completely rolling the buzzsaw 82-63. Wow. Okay. Alabama. Mac, I know we're going to talk about the bracket in a second, but first your reaction on those 3 games. And I guess one of the things that we should add in is, can Alabama go far still?
Yeah, they definitely can go far. I mean, they're talented, good defensively. And when they're making shots, I mean, they're hard to beat. It's going to be interesting to see how they are in a 6-game setting because, I mean, we've kind of argued all year that we don't believe that you can just shoot at a high clip 6 games in a row. So, hey, we'll see what happens. They open up in Birmingham. We'll dive into the bracket, but they were really good in Nashville this weekend, though.
Unbelievable. Yeah. They made me shut up. So shout out to the Crimson Tide. How about your VCU Rams getting in?
Ramming, baby.
You gotta be happy. I know you're not in Richmond right now, but we will ram it. Because shout out to them. The VCU Rams are in. They're dancing. Yeah, let's go. Shout out to the whole chat. But also we rode Memphis on the money line, and Penny Hardaway, Memphis getting it done. What a win against the Houston Cougars. 3rd time's a charm, and maybe Marcus Sasser being injured, but it is what it is. And Purdue did blow our cover. Penn State covered and Purdue won. But all in all, a winning day. We're not going to give game balls on a short slate like that. We're just going to get right into this bracket because look, and I'll be honest, I thought we were going to be recording about 15 minutes ago, but because I live in Los Angeles and Los Angeles is one of the stupidest cities of all time with the way that, I mean, on a Sunday, you would think I'd be able to get into the studio pretty easily. Now, nice hour and a half, 20 miles away. Took me an hour and a half to get to the studio. Shout out to Los Angeles. Keep your road system going. All right. I'm looking right now and look, we go old school here. I got to print it as I walked in. Yes. As I walked in. So I'm just going to go region by region here, and then we'll talk about what teams didn't get in, what teams deserve to be reseeded, what upsets we like, but we have a bracket. The South region, the 1 seed. So Alabama got the overall 1 seed, which I guess we should have expected after they won. They are taking on the winner of Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and SEMO. You know, I love that SEMO money. Maybe we could have some SEMO money going on. Oh, maybe in the play-in game. So that's the 1-16 matchup. The 2-15 is Arizona Princeton. The
Ivy League. Yes.
The private school pussies are dancing. Then we have Baylor, UC Santa Barbara. Whoo, the 3-14, the 3-14. Yeah. The 4-13 is Virginia and Furman. The 5-12, San Diego State and Charleston. Whoo, that's a tough draw for Charleston. The what am I at now? The 6. What are we at with the 6? Creighton. Michael Creighton gets in against NC State. Get the fuck out of here.
It's a bye game for the Blue Jays.
Yeah. NC State somehow makes this ridiculous. I don't know. We're going to have to talk about this one. And then we have the Missouri as the 7th seed taking on Utah State. That game's incredible. And then the 8-9 is Maryland, West Virginia. Mac, what is your first reaction to the South side of the bracket here?
I think you got to go to the top, the 8-9 game. West Virginia, Maryland, 2 physical teams where I think either whoever gets out of that, obviously I'm going to go with my Mountaineers. That they're going to give Alabama a game in that second round because West Virginia and Maryland both fit the bill for a team that's physical, that has bothered Alabama, kind of like Tennessee did, kind of like Mississippi State did in the regular season, and Oklahoma did. So we already saw when Alabama already played a Big 12 team, they struggled. So we'll see whether it's West Virginia or Maryland. That's a tough 8-9 draw for the Tide, I think.
Dude, call me crazy, and maybe it's just the sign of this season and how crazy we have, this season, has been. And I actually think besides the 1-16 matchup, every other game maybe you can talk me into Arizona Princeton, but I think that's going to be a decent game. Every other game I look at, well, no, there's one that stands out to me. Creighton, NC State. How the fuck did NC? What is going on where NC State's getting the 11 seed?
I'm at a loss for the ACC bias from the committee. That was what we just watched was a joke. The fact that North Carolina almost got in, I don't even know what to say about that. They're paid off by the Carolinas, I guess. I don't know what I'm at a loss of words seeing that North Carolina almost got in, and NC State's not even in the play-in game. Yeah. I mean, that stands out to me as the most outrageous thing on the south side of this bracket. Excuse me. But some of those other matchups are incredible. Like Missouri, Utah State. I even think like Virginia Furman. Watch out, UVA. I could see that being a loss. San Diego State, Charleston. Poor Charleston. You have a great season. It's a bad matchup.
It's a bad matchup for them, man.
That's going to be the public dog
matchup for them.
Yeah.
Then you have Baylor, Santa Barbara. I think that could be a game.
Yeah. No, Baylor's kind of stumbled down the stretch here. Santa Barbara doesn't have a dominant big though. That's like if they drew like Asheville, I thought that Baylor would be in big time trouble.
Yeah, me too. Darrell Brown says Keats got naked pictures of someone to get in the tourney this year. He's amen. Something ain't right there. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't know. I just feel like, and maybe I'm just going to feel like this because guys, I'm seeing this. This is kind of like fresh for me because of how much traffic I was in. All right. I just feel like every one of those games is a game except the Alabama, winner of the SEMO Corpus Christi game. I feel like every other game. I mean, okay, Creighton, NC State's probably the second blowout if I had to guess, but I don't know. Creighton doesn't play great defense, so maybe even NC State has a chance, despite how ridiculous it is they're in this field.
What about that Missouri Utah State game? Whew.
Dude, that game is awesome.
That
game is awesome, man. Yeah. I gotta watch that one. All right, Noah Bieniek, we know you're on the side of Interstate 95 somewhere. You go. Actually, let me look at these locations. All right, we got Noah Bieniek, who's somewhere by Orlando, Florida, where the play-in matchup, where San Diego State, Charleston, and Virginia Furman will be doing battle. Noah, what'd you feel about the South region, and what's the feel on Interstate 95 with with this tournament getting released?
Well, currently going through the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. Personally, for me, I look at the 12s and the 13s in this side of the bracket, and Charleston's going to be a little bit popular, and Furman, I'm a little bit nervous about their play style going up against the pack line. But for me, I think the talking point is NC State, and that was the team I was most surprised got into the field. I was 66 of 68 for the teams in the field, and NC State, I actually had third out. They were 45th in the net, 39th in the resume, 33rd in predictives. All of that is all right. But as you go in a little bit deeper, the committee this year was weighing a lot on road performance. And that was something that I was quite stumped on how this Wolfpack team got into the field this year. They were 4-6 on the road, 0-5 on the road against quad one opponents. And they were against teams in the field, 3-6. And if you're counting teams that were left in the first four out, which Mac had joked about, it's North Carolina and Clemson, both in the 3 and 4 spots there. It's a little bit obnoxious. They were 4-10 if you include those two teams as well. So very stumped on how NC State got into this field.
NC State sprinkling fairy dust on us. Now we have a large, the college experience, whether football, basketball, or baseball. We got a large family here, and I just saw a couple people join in. I feel like we could add them because one is in Raleigh, North Carolina. The other went to school right up the road from Raleigh, North Carolina. But up first, I'll bring in NC Nick to this.
Hey,
how you doing, NC Nick?
Hey, pretty good. What's going on, guys? Man, what a wonderful time of the year. Just get my first glance at these brackets, and it's gonna be a crazy tournament. So yeah, man, let's do it.
So we're breaking down the South region right now, and look, I was in LA traffic, so I'm kind of the freshest, I think, to look at this bracket here. But first off, NC State somehow makes it, and I'm going to add in a Terrell in a second, to Terrell Furman Jr. But Nick, what's your take on the South region and NC State somehow finagling their way in this tournament? Did you have anything to do with that? Did you guys do a bribe over there in Raleigh, North Carolina?
Look, I'm not Mr. Bracketology, but before the ACC tournament started, I think they weren't even on like the first 4 in. They, if you listen to Lunardi, which Noah's probably better than Lunardi, I agree. But so he probably knows this more than me. But they won one game in the tournament, so I think that even though they did not look good against Clemson beat them 3 times this year. It was a bad matchup, But I'm not surprised to see them in here. Now I do think it's a tough draw getting Creighton. NC State's a funny team. I mean, if their 2 guards are hot, they can beat anybody. If they're not, they can lose to anybody. But I think it's a pretty quick tournament for them. I don't see them beating Creighton.
Yeah, tough draw from the start. Now the South region in general, we're going to go region by region here, but I just rattled off these matchups. Besides the Alabama Texas A&M Corpus Christi / SEMO game, I feel like every other game is good. Maybe you could talk me into Creighton NC State being a blowout, but I feel like Baylor Santa Barbara is going to be a game. I feel like Missouri Utah State's going to be a game. I feel like Virginia Furman, watch out. I could see Furman getting the dub there. And then San Diego State Charleston. Poor Charleston, I feel like that's a terrible matchup for them. And Arizona Princeton, I feel like, who knows? Obviously I feel like that could potentially be a blow up, but Princeton I think is a little bit better than people realize. Did I mention Missouri Utah State? Because that game's fantastic. Do any of those jump out at you? Does any of those jump at, or Maryland, West Virginia, obviously?
Yeah. Well, in general, I think this is probably the second easiest region. I think the easiest is probably the East, with the West maybe being the hardest, followed by the Midwest. Or you probably could argue the Midwest and West, but that Maryland West Virginia game, man, that's going to be a great game, and the winner could definitely give Bama fits. But no, I think you're right. I think all these games are appealing. This might be the only region where every game is appealing, because maybe there's not great teams here, but there's not really bad teams either. So there's a lot of parity within the South here. Should make for some great games.
All right. Well, look, let's go to Nick. We'll bring you back for the East, but let's go to this guy, host of the NBA Gambling Podcast, host of the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Like I said, North Carolina A&T graduate. So he is, he's familiar with the Raleigh grounds, and maybe might know how NC State finagled their way into the NCAA tournament. I give you Terrell Furman Jr. How you doing, Terrell?
What's going on, fellas? How's everybody living?
Oh, it's a great day to be alive. Great day to be alive when we get a bracket, despite NC State being in the NCAA tournament. So we're looking at the South region.
Oh
here.
My gosh, the ACC hate.
Well, no,
ridiculous.
No.
Yeah, I know.
For
Nick,
me, it's just NC State hate. All right, it's that simple. I don't mind anyone else in the field.
But hey, they have one of the best shooters in college basketball. You can't. That at least is fun. And if you saying that somebody got snubbed getting in, and they shouldn't have gotten in, at least it's somebody fun like NC State with one of the best guards in college basketball.
True. And watch, and Creighton, Creighton has, I feel like, always kind of underperformed in the tournament. San Diego State should have beat him in the first round last year. So watch NC State win this fucking game. But besides that,
hold up, wait, before you start, I didn't realize everybody was up there. What's up, Mac? What's up, Noah? Hey, let our
we got
powers
the Cinco
combine.
box here.
Let our powers combine. Earth.
Yes, Voltron. Right?
I didn't even know this feature was available.
All right.
Real quick, guys. I thought Nevada was the pick that surprised me.
I thought both Wolfpacks. Wolfpacks don't belong. It should have been Oklahoma State and Rutgers.
I'll
I could have got there with Oklahoma State, but I'm good on Rutgers.
Now, I know you can't judge one year to the next, but didn't the Mountain West go winless last year?
Yes.
Don't they go winless every year?
Oh, no. Flag on the fucking play here. How about they got misseeded? Once again, just like they did with Florida Atlantic in this tournament, which we'll get to. Any group of 5, they had no business giving Boise State Memphis last year. And then they had no business giving Colorado State Michigan last year. And San Diego State, they fucked that up themselves, but they were better than Creighton. They just couldn't make a free throw in the final 10 seconds.
Some tough draws, but come on, win a game. Come on.
Colorado State was more of an 8 seed last year, and they got put as a 6. And then they faced Michigan with a power big man in Dickinson when their best guy was Roddy at 6'10".
Yeah, no, they shit on the group. They always shit on the mid majors. As you see, look no further than Florida Atlantic, and we'll get there. But hang on, Terrell. In the South bracket, I just rattled off a bunch of those games. Maryland, West Virginia, San Diego State, Charleston, Virginia, Furman, Creighton, NC State, Baylor, UC Santa Barbara, Missouri, Utah State, Arizona, Princeton, and obviously Bama against A&M Corpus Christi or SEMO. Which one do you want to watch the most there? Which one catches your eye and says, "Oh, I cannot wait for this matchup"?
I think the one that catches my eye the most is Missouri, Utah State. We're talking about the South, right?
Yeah.
South. Missouri, Utah State. And if we just look at the line and where it opened, and you guys know I'm always about line movement. Utah State opened up a -2.5 point favorite here, playing against this Missouri team. And as soon as they announced this bracket and announced these two teams, I said, "Oh man, Utah State's going to be able to give them a game." You have the factor of, man, we just really blew it in the Mountain West championship game. We got an opportunity to come out here. Everybody's talking down on the Mountain West. Everybody has something to say, but we get a Missouri team that you could say they're kind of proven, kind of unproven. They have some really good wins, but they have some bad losses. And so the fact that they opened up with Utah State as a favorite in this one, that's just telling me, well, not even just a favorite. They opened up -1 and it's already bet up to -2.5. That's telling me you better get down on Utah State and get down on them quick.
Nick, what do you think about that Utah State Missouri matchup? You think gun to your head right now, you lean Aggies or Tigers? What are you doing here?
I think I might go Aggies. I mean, they've been hot other than losing to San Diego State in the MWC championship game, but I don't trust Missouri at this point. I think Utah State is a hotter team right now, and I think they're very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, this bracket, we'll get to who we think's coming out of this bracket, but let's move along to the East.
Hey, Colby, real quick. They just announced the times. Guess who's leading off the lineup on Thursday at 12:15 Eastern, 9:15 our time? Mountaineers and Terrapins.
Wow. First game of the day.
Nice.
I'll say, Mac, you got lucky. You got lucky.
Why's that? What, because
you're getting Maryland. You're getting Maryland away from Maryland. Not only that, but you're having the revenge factor of this basketball team going to embarrass Maryland after they embarrassed West Virginia basketball the last time they played. No, football the last time they played.
Flashback 2015, we beat them in the round of 32 to get to the Sweet 16.
Hey, there you go.
We knocked Melo Trimble out of the game.
If we're talking breaking news, Rel, what's up with North Carolina declining the NIT? Come on.
Why would you want to play in NIT? I mean, no, but for real, why would you take the opportunity from somebody else that could probably use the national attention, the money, all of that more than North Carolina, who really doesn't care? Like, I would absolutely decline an invitation to the NIT and give it to somebody, Norfolk State, who is very, very deserving and should get another chance to continue playing basketball, even though they had that heartbreaker of a loss versus Howard. Yeah, definitely decline it.
How do you feel about declining the NIT, NC Nick?
If I was Duke, I'd do the same thing probably. I mean, look, I'm not trying to get on a high horse, but the top blue bloods don't aim to make the NIT, especially when you have a veteran team who a lot of people might be, getting ready for the pros or something. It probably doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
More ACC entitlement, Colby.
Yeah. Free chance to go to New York City. All right. Actually, no, that's on. I mean, that's only if they get to the Final Four, right?
Well, when you're in the actual Final Four the year before, going to the NIT. I mean, no, I agree with Terrell here. Let a mid major get it. Let them get some national attention and potentially go on a run.
All right. Look, I would never turn down an opportunity. Look, anytime from 18 to 22, 23, I guess 27 if you're Stetson Bennett, then I would always want to play basketball or football, right? Sign me up. Let's go. All right. But I guess it's different these days. The East region, Purdue, the 1 seed, they're going to be getting 16, either Texas Southern or Fairleigh Dickinson. We don't need to talk about that one. Actually, I'm sorry. Before I get to the East region, I need to get us paid. I want to tell you that the college basketball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WinBet. Yes, WinBet's the official online sports book of SGPN and the college basketball experience. And WinBet is now active in Massachusetts and tons of other states. So be on the lookout for the WinBet Win Hour each Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time during WinBet's Win Hour. Marquee games of the week will have better odds on WinBet, giving you a larger payout opportunity. Yes, and you better believe it. March Madness is here. So many ways to win, betting on the big dance. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, get $100. Limited state availability. And, of course, for our DGens only, if you hit the biggest long shot parlay of the week, you get $1,000 free credit. There's so much to choose from. All you have to do is head over to winbet.com or download the WinBet app. Offer subject to change, terms and conditions. WinBet.com is for 21 older. Present state where WinBet is available. Review something you know as a gamer problem. Call 1-800-522-4700. We're also brought to you by the DGen Dance. Yes, our March Madness contest is back. All right. It's a March Madness bankroll contest. You got to get in. Free to enter, and $1,000 in cash and prizes is up for grabs. Plus, we've got first half under bingo, where you can win a SGPN gift card, get you a nice little sweater like this. Enter the contest on the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. So go grab that today and let it ride. All right. I'm sorry. I was in the middle of breaking down the East. Purdue is the 1 seed. Texas Southern, Fairleigh Dickinson will battle it out in the play-in game to see who can take on the Boilermakers. Then the 8-9 Memphis, Florida Atlantic. I just want to throw this paper up in the air. Florida Atlantic is 31-3. 31-3. And they get a 9 seed. Get the fuck out of here. The CUSA was way up this year. In my opinion, this should be a 7. It should be like, they get Memphis. A team who's just way, like, from a recruiting standpoint and just a height standpoint, I feel like just an issue. That's ridiculous right there. But hold on, let's continue on this. Duke, the 5, taking on Oral Roberts. Tennessee, the 4, taking on Louisiana, the 13. Kentucky, the 6, taking on Providence, the 11. Oh man. Kansas State, the 3, Montana State, the Bobcats, the 14 seed, Michigan State, the 7 seed, taking on 10 seed USC, and the 2 seed Marquette. Shaka Smart getting Vermont. One of these years, is Vermont gonna get it done? Mac, what's your first reaction on the East? I'm wondering if you're in agreement with me on the Florida Atlantic situation, but what's your first thing you notice here in the East?
This feels like Boise State all over again last year. They got completely jobbed. They should be higher up on the C line than Michigan State and Kentucky, in my opinion. They did more throughout the current year. I mean, they went 31-3. They won at the Swamp. They dominated UAB last night, who was one of the darlings last year in March Madness. Other than FAU getting completely jobbed, I mean, you got Duke as a 5 seed in this region. I think they're going to be a trendy pick here because of what they did in the ACC tournament. And then Marquette as well. I think they're going to be a trendy pick because they ran through the Big East back to back. And then everybody loves Kentucky as well.
Kentucky Providence, awesome first round matchup, awesome. Especially when
you add in Greensboro for this one.
There we go.
Might be all boots on the ground.
Bryce Hopkins.
Am I crazy about this Florida Atlantic take? I want to know your guys' opinion. Noah, I know you're on the interstate, somewhere on Interstate 95. Hopefully you're not at a gas and go. But what's your opinion on this match, or what happened with the Owls?
Yeah, I think this was the biggest miss on the bracket. We talked about, I think the team that didn't deserve to get in the most in NC State last region, this region, the most misseeded team was the Owls of Florida Atlantic. Their net was 13th. Their resume was 23rd. Predictives is where they kind of get knocked down a little bit, like all mid-majors, 34th. But when you look at their road records, like I said, the committee heavily valued that this year. They were 11-3 on the road, 2-1 against quad 1 road teams. And personally, I had Michigan State as an 8 seed. But what the committee did is they actually threw, I believe it was 3. I don't have anything in front of me. from what I hear, it was a logjam of Big Ten teams in the 8-9 seed, and Purdue was a 1 seed. So what happened is they had to move the best Big Ten team up to a 7 seed to avoid having them in the same region as Purdue and all of the other Big Ten teams, if that makes sense. So Florida Atlantic, I can understand if they moved down to an 8, but this is just a clear bad seeding. And they had Florida Atlantic as a 9 seed when I had them as the 4th, 7th seed here.
I mean, they damn near went undefeated. Nick,
on the 6th line. Yeah.
Nick, what'd you make of the East Division, and do you agree that they got misseeded?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough draw, and they probably deserve to be a 7 or so. Yeah, look, I mean, they only played 2 Power 5 opponents, and they split them. So the one Power 5 win was against Florida, who was very average this year. But they had a great season. Tough draw here, especially against a Memphis team where I think Memphis is very dangerous, even before knocking off Houston today. So, I agree. They should be a 7 or a 6 or so. But the East, I think, is the easiest region because I think Purdue's the worst 1 seed. I still don't completely trust Marquette for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, they have proven it on the court time and time, but still, it's like Marquette Final Four. I don't know about that. Me being the Duke fan, obviously, I'm concerned about Oral Roberts. But other than the initial tough game, I think it's actually not a bad bracket to be in.
Yeah. Terrell, what did you make of this region? Is there do you agree that it's the easiest you think? And
he likes Bob Roberts, let me guess.
So look now, there's a lot of things to talk about in this region, and we're going to start at the top here because you have Purdue on a crazy high right now. Purdue just won the regular season title for the Big Ten, and then not only did they do that, they went and they won the Big Ten tournament. They really did. And guess what? What happens when Purdue is on the mountaintop? When Purdue is on the mountaintop, they always come crashing down, and they hit every single rock along the way.
I'm not sure Purdue's been this high before.
And don't get me wrong, but if they miss a rock on the way down, they go back up to the top, and they fall back down, making sure they hit that rock that they miss. We are going to get Purdue at some point in this tournament. It could be in round 2. It could be in the Sweet 16. We are going to get such a good line with Purdue. Yeah. And
I mean, the first thing that jumps out to me is that Memphis could be playing Purdue. I'm sorry.
Gonna break that press.
Yeah, I think Memphis is a nightmare matchup.
Does Purdue have a chance against Memphis or Florida Atlantic? Both of them.
Yeah, well, I think the height of Purdue could be a problem for FAU, but Memphis is one where I look at from an athletic standpoint. I mean, I think Memphis could be a really dangerous team, especially in this bracket.
Don't forget, Memphis almost beat Gonzaga last year. I think they were up at halftime, right?
Yeah.
In the same spot in round 2.
Can I touch on something real quick?
What's that?
Nick talked about how this one seems like the easiest bracket, and that's actually true. So CBS just released on social media their top 4 seeds by region. Now, there's something called the S curve where you're ranking these teams 1 through 16, worst to best, and those are your 4 seeds in every region. Well, typically the golden rule is that it's somewhere between 32 and 36 that these seeds add up to. The East adds up to 37, and it's basically because of a bunch of bracket rules, whether it's conference, rematches, or location, where 37 is not even supposed to happen. And that is like the weakest I think I've seen in at least since I've been trying to follow bracketology. So you have the 4th 1 seed, which is Purdue. You have the 4th 2 seed, which is Marquette. You have the 3rd 3 seed, which is Kansas State, and the 2nd 4 seed, which is Tennessee. It's a pretty weak region.
Yeah.
I don't need all the fancy stats to tell you that, but I'm glad we agree, Noah.
I'm just putting in a little bit.
I looked at the teams and I said they suck.
I'm just putting a little bit of what is it? Ethos, logos, and pathos or something like. I'm putting the logos behind your ethos and pathos.
Is that a college?
Yeah, it is definitely a college reference.
It sounded like a fraternity.
Yeah. Now I will say this. I'm looking back. Purdue in what 93, 94 was a high seed who lost.
Big Dog
early.
Robinson.
Yeah, I'm not early, but I mean they did not get as far as they thought they would when you see them.
Tell me who beat them that year.
Oh,
Grant
look at
Hill.
that memory.
Grant
look at
Hill
that memory.
locked down
Off the rip.
Glenn
Off
Big
the
Dog
rip.
Robinson, and Duke Duke beat the Boilermakers.
What's
that year.
that Joe Rogan brain supplement? I feel like you got to be taking that shit, right? What's that on it or what's it? I feel like you got to be taking some of that stuff. Rob Donaldson says he's taking Ethos Pathos minus 18.5 against Southwestern Bible. Should be a classic. Well, yeah. I mean, we're gonna get. I'm gonna ask you who you guys think are gonna come out these regions at the end of this episode. So let's hop over to the Midwest. But before I hop over to the Midwest, I want to tell you folks out there that the college basketball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Fantasy is heating up for March Madness. And college pick'em is a great way to get down on action, especially if your bracket's busted after day one, which mine was last year when Kentucky lost to St. Peter's. So sometimes that happens. Plus, Underdog Fantasy has your favorite college basketball player props. I can't recommend this enough. I know Noah's been on this. The player props. There's value. There's a ton of value there. Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right.
This is fun.
We are on the B side of the college basketball experience. We have the Midwest region. Sorry, we're doing this for audio purposes here. Midwest region. I'm intrigued by. Do we know how long Sasser is going to be out for Houston?
Groins are always tricky.
I think he's going to be back. I think that they just held him out because of cautionary reason. They could lose that game and still be a 1, and obviously they were right.
Because I think Northern Kentucky is the clear-cut best 16.
Yeah, like Georgia State last year against Gonzaga.
Yeah. So Northern Kentucky gets Houston 116 matchup. The 8-9 is Iowa and Auburn. The 5-12 Miami, Florida, and Drake. The 4-13 Indiana, Kent State. Oh man, why do they have to give me? Why do they have to?
Birdman hand rub. My
The
fingers itching.
The 6-11 is Iowa State against the winner of the Mississippi State Pittsburgh game. I know Mac will have something to say about that.
Hail State.
The 3-14 is Xavier and Kennesaw State. The 7-10 Texas A&M Penn State. The 2-15 Texas and Colgate. Oh man, they got to deal my Colgate guys. The Longhorns. Come on, Mac. I'll start with you. What'd you make of this side of the bracket, and what games caught your eye the most for a potential upset?
Yeah, this could be the region with some upsets. I think the 3, 4, and 5 all could be upset in this one. Drake, Miami. I mean, Miami with North Chad potentially being out for the opener. He's going to be a game time decision, it sounds like. Kent State, obviously, with the guard, Sincere Carey. Indiana's been so up and down. And then Kennesaw, I mean, we saw they almost won at Indiana already this year. And then, but a game I really want to see is Mississippi State get by Pitt. That's going to happen. We all know that. Each in Pitt. If Iowa State and Mississippi State play, it's going to be like first to 40 wins.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's potential. Yeah. Buckle up. Basketball is back, baby. All right.
Rock fight.
That's gonna be a 19. That's like a 19-10 score. You know what I mean? Like if that game happens, should we talk about Pitt? Did Pitt deserve to be in the NCAA tournament, Mac? I know that you think they shouldn't. I think Pitt's better than NC State, though.
I mean, if that's the bar, I guess they deserve to be in, but I mean, they don't deserve to be in over Oklahoma State or Rutgers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree there. Noah Bieniek's on the side of the 95 freeway. I know you have spent a lot of time in the great city of Pittsburgh, so I think you're a closet Pitt Panther fan. Did they deserve to be in?
Yeah, so currently at a rest area in Kentucky now, so you might hear some doors. You might hear some doors opening and closing, but I mean, I can't control it. You know, Pitt, they might have a little bit of a soft spot, but I don't call myself really like a big Pitt fan. Now, if you're looking at some tools that the committee uses, and granted, it's not some of my favorite metrics, but you're looking at the net, which is 67th for Pitt. The resume is 56th, and the predictives rank 68th. Comparing that to Oklahoma State, for example, their net's 43rd, 47th is the resume, and the predictives are 38th. This is the difference maker for me. I had Pitt in over Oklahoma State. Pitt was 7-5 on the road. They were one of 3 bubble teams. And by bubble, I mean like 10 seeds all the way to, I considered like the first 7 out were in my deep window, comparing all these resumes. They were one of 3 power high major teams that had a winning road record. And they also had a 3-2 record on the road against quad 1 opponents. Oklahoma State was 4-7 on the road and 3-7 on the road against quad 1. The other thing for Oklahoma State that left them out for me over Pitt, Oklahoma State's 1-11 against quad 1A. How many chances do they need to prove that they're not good enough to make the field compared to other teams that have not even half the quad 1A opportunities that they received? Pitt, they're 5-5 against the field, and if you're counting the first 4 out, they were 7-6. That's what made the difference for me to include them into the field.
If you're counting the first 4 out, which they put North Carolina for some strange reason, but fair enough. We'll see. I disagree. I think Oklahoma State's a better team than Pittsburgh. I would take them. I think even Las Vegas would. I will pull a Saban. If you set an odds on that, it would be OK State -4.5. I bet you. If that was if we got to see that game happen.
I won't argue you, but it was the same thing when you called out Saban for mentioning the gambling odds on that. I agree. I would probably favor the Pokes over the Panthers too, but when you're talking about proven resume, what they did on the court, on the field, that's your argument every time. Well, but you have a little bit of an exception for the Big 12 this year.
No. You're comparing sports. I mean, you're talking about Nick Saban was making that argument when he didn't even represent the SEC in the SEC championship game. LSU did, so they didn't even win their division. And it's a 4-team invitational, completely different. It's completely different. I don't think it's even that comparable.
Yeah, but this is also like the weakest field. I think. Like again, I've only been following bracketology like heavy for maybe 4 or 5 years now. Weakest field that I've seen. Bubble, there was no bid stealers, so that's what makes us have to, dissect these just in most years bad resumes to get into the field of 68.
Fair enough. What's that?
Real quick, the quad 1A is a little misleading because they have 6 quad 1 wins. They beat TCU, they swept Iowa State, they beat TCU, they beat West Virginia. They're being penalized because Avery Anderson got hurt, and honestly, this is the 3rd time in the last 5 years they've been screwed by the committee.
Musa Cisse also was injured some too. If they're supposed to be looking at injuries and taking these into hindsight, but Nick, what'd you make of that?
Well, one thing on that, so I think the end of the season has to be a little bit more important than the beginning, just a little bit. And if you end the season going 2-6 in your last 8, and those 2 wins were not against NCAA tournament teams, like to Noah's point, you had plenty of chances to get one more W to get over that hump, and they just couldn't do it.
But that's also when the Avery Anderson injury happened.
But how did Pitt
finish? They still without him?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, right. He was a game time decision the last game. Yeah,
they're without Anderson. Rutgers without Mag. Both of them unfortunately got.
That's my problem though. Is it's like, oh, you have a guy injured, and you lose. That's one of their best players, if not their best. And you're not able to you lose those games. And so we're supposed to sit there and say, hey, this is their problem. They didn't win down the stretch. I don't know. I have a problem with that. I just feel like Oklahoma State deserved to be in this field.
So what's Pitt and NC State's excuse for stumbling down the stretch? I mean, Pitt just got absolutely embarrassed by Duke. They lost at Notre Dame the week before. NC State lost by an average of 25.5 points to Clemson of all teams. I mean, what's their excuse for stumbling down the stretch?
Well, so what's their record? I mean, is
they're all bubble
Pitt
teams?
Has played the whole year without their best player, John Hughley.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
I mean, it's not like we're talking between a 1 seed and, we're all talking about bubble teams. They all were trash down the stretch, and they just chose, 2 trash teams over the third.
Yeah. See, Colby does this every year. Colby always. I don't get too wrapped up around the last team that didn't make it, because at the end of the day, they're a pretty average team. And yeah, I mean, you can like look at one thing for this team, one team for the other. But if you're talking about really like the 69th team or something, look, you had your chances. I'm sorry. If you didn't get in, that's too bad.
No, but see, my problem is the NCAA did stick it to Oklahoma State for nothing.
Last year.
They owe them a fucking favor, in my opinion.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
My problem is more with a mid-major who's on the bubble that doesn't get in, because the Power 5 conferences or Power 6 in college basketball, these teams have enough chances to prove themselves. My problem is when you have a really good mid-major who just barely misses out, who didn't have the opportunity to play some top teams and get more quad 1 wins or quad 1A wins or 1 AA wins, whatever the hell you want to say. So I'm not going to cry me a river over Oklahoma State.
No, here's my problem. And I know maybe you're right, but I still think that they pick and choose their battles. Other years they'll say, well, they're injuries, but we factored in the injuries. We put this team here, right? Well, where are you factoring in the injuries with Rutgers and Oklahoma State? They move the goalpost every fucking year, so you have no
Rutgers
idea.
Has 3 quad 3 losses.
4.
Yeah.
Like that's why they didn't get in. If we're talking about Rutgers, that they lost the games of why they didn't get in.
Oklahoma State also lost at home to Southern Illinois too.
Pitt lost to Notre Dame and Florida State.
Notre Dame and Florida is way better than Notre Dame and Florida State.
Come on.
Anyway, let's Nick, what'd you make of the Midwest?
I think I didn't like seeing Houston and Texas in the same region, because I thought both of those could be Final Four teams for me. But in general, I think it's a tough bracket, and I think there's several teams here that could advance far, maybe even to the Final Four.
This bracket's brutal, right? I mean, I hate the fact I've been wanting to take Indiana in this tournament, and I hate the fact they're paired up with Kent State. Terrell, I know me and you were talking about Kent State.
Oh, sir.
Yeah, I mean,
it's too late. It's already done. It's already done. It's already done. Where's the drop? Kent State 100-1 to win the Midwest.
They already almost beat Houston at Houston.
100,000-1.
Yeah.
It's not a horrible play.
Not a horrible play with the way they almost beat Houston in Houston.
I mean, if you just look at Kent State, and you talked about the backcourt earlier, Matt, and you just look at the defensive metrics of what they're able to do, everybody's like focused on the offensive side of the ball. But the fact that you are able to be one of the top teams in the nation defensively, that's what's going to carry you through this conference. That's what's going to carry you in a game against Indiana, where they are going to play some tough defense. That's what's going to carry you through. And if you get to a Miami or a Drake, that's what's going to carry you through the Sweet 16. If everybody's asking who is St. Peter's of last year, who is St. Peter's, who is the next year's St. Peter's, I mean, if Kent State made a run, it would not be surprising. It really would not be surprising.
I've been saying that too. They kind of remind me of the Loyola Chicago team we saw a few years ago with Porter Moser.
Yeah, but Kent State's a 13. I mean, we're talking about St. Peter's was a 15 last year. My bold take going into the year was that another 14 through 16 would get there. I still think so. But when you're talking about Kent State to St. Peter's, I think there's 9 other teams in between them, I think.
I mean, when you talk about it's a 13. Like I'm picking a 13 to win the region. So mindful is it's not going to exactly be a 15, but it's still a team that people are kind of overlooking in this tournament. And I think that if you put them up against one of the powerhouses, against a Houston, talked about that, against the Texas, I'm not going to sit there and count them out of that. No, I think they got a chance. I'm just looking for anybody where we get into that 12 and below, where we're talking about odds that are 50 million, 100 trillion, thousand. What did Biden say? Trillion, billion, trillion to 1. I'm looking for all those teams that are like that to just make it to the Final Four. And Kent State has the pedigree that they could do it.
And also, that's a step further than what St. Peter's did last year, because they only made the Elite Eight.
Elite Eight.
Yeah. So
I didn't have Elite 8 odds yet, but I will be on the Elite 8 odds when they drop.
So if you're talking Biden stuff here, which is the team that's going to fall off the bike? Which team will get upset the first? Is it Drake against? I mean, I guess you're saying Indiana, but Drake Miami matchup.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? ACC boys, Terrell and Nick. Terrell, how do you feel about that matchup?
I think that that Miami goes as far as Isaiah Wong takes them. I think it's truly as far as Isaiah Wong takes them, because we've seen him go into the tournament and be able to have some big games, and we've seen him come up short and the other team be able to wrap. So I really, truly think that Miami is going as far. If he's able to put on a show, if he's able to show that he's an NBA talent and able to take on all these out of conference games and still be able to put up the numbers that he can put up, then Miami does have a chance.
I need an injury report on Norchad Omier, because Miami's very thin in the front court, and without him, they are. I mean, there's nothing there. There's nothing left. So if he's not playing, I think they actually probably lose to Drake. If he plays, though, dude, it's all about guard play in March, and Miami has 3 or 4 guards who can just light it up. So if he's healthy, if he plays, I like Miami to potentially reach the Sweet 16. If not, they're in trouble.
Yeah, man, that A&M Penn State game catches my eye too. Let's move along to the West. But before we move to the West, I want to tell you that the college basketball experience is brought to you by WinBet. Yes, WinBet is the official online sportsbook of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. WinBet is now live in Massachusetts and a ton of other states. Be on the lookout for the WinBet Win Hour each Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. During WinBet's Win Hour, marquee games of the week will have better odds on WinBet, giving you a larger payout opportunity. And you better believe March Madness is here. There's so many ways to win on betting on the big dance. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet $100, get $100. Limited to state availability. And of course, for our DGen onlys, if you hit the largest long shot parlay of the week, you get $1,000 free credit. There's so much to choose from, and all you have to do is head over to winbet.com and download the WinBet app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at winbet.com. Must be 21 or older. Present state of WinBet is available. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We're also brought to you by our own contest over here at SGPN. Yes, March Madness contest. The D-Gen Dance. Come out and cut the rug with us, all right? Because our D-Gen Dance bankroll contest is back, free to enter, and $1,000 in cash and prizes is up for grabs. Plus, we've got our first half under bingo, where you can win a SGPN gift card. Enter both contests on the SGPN app. All right, let's take a look at this.
So sorry, my finger slipped. I did not mean to hit that comment there. My bad. Sorry, guys.
Duke will get Jeff the Greek says Duke will get their ass kicked by Oral Roberts.
My finger slipped. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I think NC Nick might be a little shaking his boots there about Max Asmus. Because when that game goes on or tips, the best player on the court is going to be on Oral Roberts. How do you feel about that matchup, buddy?
Well, I do have nightmares still about CJ McCollum, who somehow was, a future NBA All-Stars on like a 13 seed, and somehow Duke draws him, and he just couldn't miss that game. So, yeah, look, Duke has at least 2 really good perimeter defenders who I think could give Mad Max some problems, but Mad Max he's one of the best players in the country. So if he's hot, then yes, I am worried.
Can't wait to watch that matchup. Let's talk about the West region, guys, because Kansas is taking on Howard. Howard, first trip to the tournament since 1992. I love it. Shout out to the Bison. How we doing with that Kevin McCullough injury, by the way? Mac, do you know anything about that?
I think he's going to be back. I think he could have played last night, but kind of like Timmy Allen, they just wanted to hold him out, and Sasser today for Houston for precautionary reasons. I mean, they knew they were going to get a 1 either way. I didn't think they'd get drilled by 20 though. Yeah. 8-9 matchup, Arkansas, Illinois. That game's fantastic. Give me Arkansas all day. Just gonna tell you that right now. St. Mary's VCU. Wow, that one's really appealing to me.
I'm telling you.
That's a bad matchup for St. Mary's, man.
What are you telling me, bro?
VCU all the way. VCU all the way.
I do think that's a bad matchup.
I think that's a terrible matchup. They both have the same play style, bro.
A terrible matchup for who?
Both of them. I think both of them seemed like sleepers early on. I think VCU had a rough draw there, and St. Mary's does not want to see VCU either.
Yeah, I think if anything, like VCU likes to get gritty, and St. Mary's, I don't know if that's their style. When I think about that, I go, ooh, give me some of that VCU Ram play. Nick, what do you make of that matchup?
It's a great matchup, and the opening line is St. Mary's -3, which tells you, throw the seeds out the window. 5-12. The 5 seed is supposed to be more than a 3-point favorite, but this should be a hell of a game. I'm actually kind of pissed that they play each other round one because I could see both these teams advancing if they were playing somebody else. So I actually like both teams, and that's going to be a great game.
Yeah, we got also they're going to get the winner of UConn Iona. Yes, Rick, Slick Rick.
Does everybody agree, including Noah, that this is the toughest region?
They have 2 1 seeds in this region.
Yeah,
there are 2 1 seeds in this region. I don't. Yeah. I don't care what nobody says.
Right.
Yeah. There's for a fact there are 2 1 seeds in this region because UCLA got robbed.
Yeah. Hold on, let me get done reading this there. So UConn Iona, then TCU against the winner of Arizona State Nevada, which I feel like that's like a play-in game every year. Gonzaga also getting Grand Canyon and Bryce Drew. He's no stranger to March Madness. Northwestern, the 7 seed, getting the 10 seed Boise State. Watch out. And then, oh man, UCLA. Why do they have to get UNC Asheville? I wanted UNC Asheville. I thought they'd be getting a better matchup here. Why couldn't they get Purdue? All right. Why couldn't they get, some of the other teams out there? But that's the 215. Mac, what'd you make of this whole West region?
I think Nick and Terrell and Noah hit it all right on the head. This is the toughest region because, I mean, you look at it, there's 2 1 seeds. UCLA got seeded 2 because they lost last night and they got seeded out. So location took priority here. They arguably have the best number 3 seed in Gonzaga. They arguably have the most talented 4 seed in UConn. And then you look down, TCU is your 6 seed.
Yeah,
oh my god,
that's ridiculous. They're really good.
I mean, we could have a TCU Gonzaga round of 32.
I have a future on TCU and UCLA. Unfortunately, they're in the same bracket here. I mean, this is what's that?
I was saying, and I love VCU over St. Mary's. Every time St. Mary's, like Purdue, has got impressed or pressured, they just coughed up the ball. Gonzaga and then BYU in that semifinal just last week.
Yeah, I mean, another thing, I think Boise State's going to beat Northwestern. Telling you right now, that's one that stands out to me as a bad matchup for the Wildcats. Noah, what'd you make of the West region?
Yeah, so talk about it already has been that it seems pretty stacked. Top 4 seeds add up to 31, which again shouldn't ever really happen. The weakest region or the strongest the region should be is 32, but again, probably because of location, conference ties, and avoiding rematches, we're at 31. And for me, I see that it kind of makes sense that I think 1 through 6 all win their game, and I have this one just off the top of my head going pretty chalky.
1 through 6. So I'm looking. Okay, so 2 UCLA, UNC Asheville. I think UCLA will get that. Gonzaga, Grand Canyon. Yeah. Okay. The 4. What I don't know about UConn Iona. Slick Rick might have a magic trick up his sleeve. All right. I love to fade the Hurleys come March. NC Nick, what'd you make of the West?
Yeah, man, it's really tough. I think I do lean VCU, so I wouldn't agree that 1 through 6 goes chalk. But I think as far as the Sweet 16, it may be fairly chalky come that time. And man, think of a Sweet 16 here with Kansas. I don't know. Throw UConn in there. Kansas, UConn, Gonzaga, UCLA. I mean, that is freaking loaded. I think UConn is the one that we'll see about that. Maybe VCU can surprise some folks and win 2 games, but this is loaded here. It's gonna be tough to pick the one team to go to the Final Four.
When you look at that second round matchup of potentially TCU Gonzaga, that's incredible. That's got to be one of the best second round matchups we have.
If anything, Gonzaga is going completely under the radar here, and maybe that benefits them. That the target is not on their back in this tournament. Maybe they can quietly win a couple games and see what happens.
Yeah. And I think if you're a Gonzaga fan, though, I would hate to see TCU in the second round. You're hoping Arizona State maybe can knock off TCU, because I doubt Nevada could. Terrell, what'd you make of the West? Which games and matchups caught your eye the most?
You just talked about it. I like backing the 11 seed first four. Who's coming out the first four, who's got that game, who's got the momentum on their side. Maybe if they're high on defense, which is Arizona State, very high on defense, can they get their offense to keep up with that defense by getting that first game under their belt, getting something going? So yeah, I love taking the 11 seed a lot of the times. And I think that, that is a matchup that would be fun. Arizona State versus TCU. Arizona State's proven that they can compete with some of those teams later going on. They have the win against Arizona, win against Utah, win against UCLA, the second go around in the Pac-12 tournament. Arizona State is somebody that if they can make it through, I think that they can have a chance of upsetting TCU, but we all know the Rams are going to go ahead and handle this. Like the Rams are about to go through here and shock the world. So shout out to my guy. Shout out to my guys over there at the, VCU. Shout out to Shaka Smart, who has given them the blueprint, and they will be channeling that 2011 energy here.
Both of the Hurleys in the West.
That is true.
Both Hurleys are in the West.
Yeah.
That's true. Every other team's got to be smiling when they see that. They go, okay. That would be intriguing though if we ended up getting a Hurley on Hurley matchup. Yeah, I bet against it, but I mean, it's possible.
Be in the Elite Eight. Arizona State is not making the Elite Eight.
Dude, we talked about this on the show before though. Arizona State is a strange team. Like to me,
I think they could do it. I think they can. I think that if Arizona State makes it out, I will pick Arizona State over TCU.
Arizona State is to me, like the complete mystery team. Like you want to talk about, let's talk about that actually. Let's talk about what's the play-in team. We've seen it so many times, whether it was VCU, whether it was Syracuse or Tennessee or Michigan State or not Michigan State, UCLA, who went to the Final Four. There's been multiple Final Four teams that were the 11 seed, a ton of Sweet 16 teams that were in the play-in games. Well, our options are Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, Southeast Missouri State, Mississippi State, Pitt, Texas Southern, Fairleigh Dickinson, Arizona State, and Nevada. I would cast my vote on Arizona State all day as the true wild card to go deep. Mac, out of those play-in games, which team do you think could surprise the most?
Call me crazy. I like Mississippi State. I think they're really good defensively. I thought they got better and better as the year went along. Chris Jans is one of the better coaches. I like their matchup. Initially, I already bet them. They're going to beat Pitt's ass. So then they're going to move on to Iowa State. I think that's going to be a rock fight. So I think the Bulldogs. I like Chris Jans' group.
Noah, the play-in games. Which one do you lean to the most as far as a team that could have a deep run?
Mac's not going to like my answer, but my answer is Pitt. And I think
he's drinking
Mississippi State's going to be a tough matchup. I mean, granted, it's going to be a little bit of a rock fight in that play-in game in Dayton. But if they get to Iowa State, the Cyclones play that no-middle defense, and Pitt has the perfect offense to be able to, take down the Cyclones. They shoot the ball a ton and effectively from the outside. I like the Panthers if they get by the Bulldogs, they can make some noise in this region.
Nick, where are you going in the play-in teams?
I think I gotta agree with you and Terrell and say Arizona State's probably the most dangerous. But honestly, there's not one I love in this year's tournament.
I agree with Nick.
Yeah, Terrell, you think Arizona State out of all the teams, or maybe Mississippi State or Pitt?
Yeah, I'm going Arizona State, and then of course, from my other Texas Southern gets it done.
It's my team.
They lost in the first four last go round. No, they won. No, that was Texas Corpus Christi. Whatever. Texas Southern, they get it done. Texas Southern goes all the way.
There we go. All right, look, before we ask about perhaps our Final Four, which I know we barely got a time to look at this bracket. But I want to ask that, and I'm going to also ask you guys how many double-digit seeds will win the first round. So look at it right now while I read this ad. I want to tell you folks out there that the college basketball experience on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is heating up for March Madness. College pick'em is great. I'm telling you, it's great to get in on all the action, because if you are like me last year, I had Kentucky and St. Peter's beat them in the first round. I had Kentucky going to the championship game. So my bracket was busted after the first week, or the first two. I don't know what day Kentucky played on. If it was Thursday or Friday, but point is, by Friday night, my bracket was toast. All right, so there's opportunity here. Also, Underdog Fantasy has your favorite college basketball player props. Yes, that's always fantastic to get in. Maybe you think Oscar Toshiba is going to score, 20 and 10 in the first matchup against Providence. Something like that. Hop on over there. Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right, guys. We got the bracket here. Before we get out of here, I want to do this. How many double-digit seeds win the first round? Mac?
Ooh, that's a good question. I will go. I'm just looking at it right now. 6.
6 double-digit seeds. Noah?
Yeah.
Noah still? He's on
maybe 7.
I'll
go 7.
I'll go with 6, and I guess so. The 10 seeds kind of help out this argument and inflate the number. My darling, I guess, looking at it on paper to get through, give me UC Santa Barbara to get to the Sweet 16.
Woo! I like their team, man. It's just I don't love the draw of Baylor, obviously with Scott Drew, but I do love their team.
I don't love the way that Baylor's defense. I was all in on Baylor about 3 weeks ago. They've just kind of fallen apart in my eyes over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
The Santa Barbara guard play is really good, and I think
I think it's a great matchup. They're going right up against Baylor's strength, so it's strength on strength. I like their chance.
I like it. Mac, I guess since he named one, why don't you name the you got any of the double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16? I know this is on the fly, but let's.
I like Drake. I mean, they went to the tournament a couple years ago. I've kind of said it all year. I think Miami's a bunch of frauds. They're not good defensively. I think Drake is going to get them, and then I think they have a chance. I think they're going to play Kent State, and I think that would be a hell of a game. So I kind of like Drake in the Sweet 16 here in the Midwest region.
All right, NC Nick, where are you? What's that number for you? That magic number of double-digit seeds winning a first-round matchup, and also, do you have any going to the Sweet 16?
Yeah. So the number I quickly came up to was 7. I think we're definitely going to see some upsets in this tournament. I think that's just college basketball in today's day and age. And if I had to pick one team, a double digit to go to at least the Sweet 16, I mean, I'm gonna take it before Terrell can, and I'll say VCU.
You dickhead. All right, it's
That's
all
that
right.
Carolina Duke rivalry.
Yeah,
That's that Carolina Duke rivalry.
That's all right. I got something.
Yeah, he's got VCU. Okay, so Terrell, I'll ask you the same question as far as how many teams do you think double-digit seeds will get a win in the first opening 2 days of college the NCAA tournament, and do you have any of them in the Sweet 16?
I got 5 for sure. I like. I'm gonna give myself some room, and I'm gonna say 6. But I got 5 for sure that I like. The one that I'm going to give out. Do y'all remember what happened the last time Texas won the Big 12 tournament?
They lost to Abilene Christian.
Colgate?
Give me Colgate money line.
Raiders?
Colgate Raiders to get the win over
They're
Texas.
due.
15 seed over the 2. Colgate finally has the great game in the tournament. I'm going with the Colgate.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
3 years in a row, they've had Arkansas, Tennessee, and Wisconsin all on the ropes. You know what? Texas is in the crosshairs. I like it.
The problem is Texas is super athletic. Like I would love it if Colgate got like Purdue or something, where I'm like, hey, maybe they can, like Texas is a team that's so athletic. I think those super athletic teams give Colgate problems.
Or is it Shaka that goes down in the 215 game because he was the coach of that Texas team against Vermont?
That's one. That's one right there.
Vermont's due as well.
Shaka on a 9. Shaka is good because he's on a non-Power 5 team here. He's coming in the Power 6 with the Big East. Shaka will make a run.
Oh, going there.
I kind of agree with Mac there. If 1-2 seed is going to lose, I would lean towards Marquette. I'm not calling for it, but I think they are the most acceptable 2 seed.
They're young. They have the youth, and that's the problem. I think a lot of times young teams exit early.
Lock up Marquette minus 11.5.
Oh, there we go. All right, before we get out of here, Final Four. I know we're going to, on Wednesday's show, throughout the week, we'll be talking about this. Remember folks, we have a schedule. We're going to be in Vegas tomorrow. If you're in Vegas, let us know. We'll be doing our show at the Win studio, or at the Blue Wire studio inside the Win. And that'll be on Tuesday and Wednesday, but also I'll be part of the sports gambling podcast shows there as well. And that's, I believe, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then also we will be at Circa Monday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. So come on out. We'll buy you a beer. Final Four. Oh, I guess I didn't give my numbers away here. I'm going 7. I think there's a lot this year. And I am going to buy into Kent State getting to the Sweet 16. Although I will be honest, like Kent State Drake, they're almost like mirror images to me. But I think Kent State is one that can go to, and I also think I wouldn't be surprised if VCU did. So I'll jump on that as well with VCU. And you want another hot take? Oral Roberts. They beat Duke.
Oh, yeah,
and then they
go.
get Tennessee, and Tennessee can't score. Oral Roberts gets Tennessee and goes to the Sweet 16. Let's go. All right, Final Four though. Let's talk Final Four. I know we just saw this. This thing got released an hour and a half ago. Mac, what's your Final Four?
So this is just I may tinker this throughout the week. Initial thoughts. I'm taking Baylor out of the South. Nobody's on them. Everybody's picking them to lose to Santa Barbara or lose to Creighton. They still got the experienced guard, Scott Drew. So I like them to get out of that region. I like K-State out of the East as well. More experienced guards, and I think Purdue's going to get picked off.
This guy's going with the all Big 12 Final Four.
Oh, yeah. I'm not done yet.
That's why I'm chuckling over here.
That's right. Bro, you didn't even have to ask him. I could have told you his picks. Like, come on.
And then I went back and forth on Houston and Texas. I think Houston edges out Texas. So I don't have all Big 12.
No, they're
another Big 12 school.
What do you mean? They're in the Big 12 in 3 months?
Yeah. Another Big 12 school.
And, I got Kansas and TCU in the Elite 8, and I'll go rock chalk to get back to the Final Four. So I have I have 3 out of 4 with one pending.
Wow.
Big 12.
Wow.
Let's go, baby. Best league in America.
We'll see. We'll see if that happens.
Hey, Matt, so how disappointed? I mean,
they're all 1 and 2 seeds.
How disappointed would you be? Because how many did you get? 7? 7 in the conference?
7, yeah.
And plus Houston. We'll count Houston, so 8. If the number over-under, let's set it at 5.5.
2.5 over
5.5
in the Elite 8.
That you get
over
5.5 over
in the Elite 8 or Sweet 16.
I'll give you the Elite 8. I'll even give you the Elite 8. No.
I'll give
you Sweet 16.
5.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's better odds. I'll give you Sweet 16. That's better odds.
Over. I'll go over.
Okay, over 5.5. All right,
there we go.
Right. I mean, I think that there's a possibility that you could be 4 and under. Like, how crazy would it be if it's 4 or under?
Well, I mean, I'm probably in the minority of liking TCU over Gonzaga. Me and Colby have loved TCU all year. I think TCU could match up well with Gonzaga because of their size and athleticism.
Yeah, I got TCU beating them. But I'd be honest, I'd prefer not to play Gonzaga. I wish it was a different setup. I wish they were on the other side of the bracket, to tell you the truth. But Noah, your Final Four, does it have Pitt?
No.
He's like, I'm not even a Pitt. He's like, I'm not even a Pitt fan. He's like, if there's a team I could see in the first 4 to go to the Final Four, it's Pitt.
I don't like a single team, though. I said that too.
I'm messing with you, man. What's your Final Four?
All right, so I still reserve the right to. I mean, I'm picking my Final Four in a Raising Cane's currently. Shout out Raising Cane's. I reserve the right to change it, but
Not a sponsor.
I'm going out of the top left. I'm going Alabama. I've kind of wavered on my take of just fading this team. I don't know if they can stay consistent for 6 games. They just need to stay consistent from 4 to get to the Final Four. So give me Alabama, give me Houston. I'm going to take Gonzaga. And listen to this, boys. A Michigan guy is taking Sparty to get to the Final Four. I'm going with
what's
fate.
in the chicken there.
I'm going with fate with Houston. It's Jim Nance's Final Four he's ever calling in his career. He's a Houston alum, and it's being played in Houston. They're going to be my champ, looking at it right now. And Michigan State, I like the story. Izzo's been great in the community. I think good karma's coming to him. He hasn't had a ton of success. Everybody says Izzo's great in March. Look at his record in the past 3 tournaments. It's not good. He's been bouncing the first weekend. I think this year karma helps him out because he's done great things in the community after the unfortunate events that happened on campus. I like Michigan State to get to the Final Four.
A great community play.
That is a narrative that I will actually get behind. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, I'll say this.
Over under 2.5 Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16.
Under.
But Izzo, a couple years ago when UCLA went to the Final Four, Michigan State blew a 12-point first half lead. And that game went to overtime. They were that close to knocking down the team that almost played for the national championship. Nick, what's your Final Four?
Be there. They're in the first 4.
Well, that happens all the time, though. It wasn't VCU a first 4 team that went to the Final Four. Was it Syracuse?
Yeah. UCLA.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nick, what's your Final Four?
My Final Four is going to start off like Noah's. My 2 1 seeds, Bama and Houston, are the only 1 seeds that make it. I will take UCLA, and then I'm going to go in the East, the team that Colby has losing in the first round. My Duke Blue Devils make the Final Four again. There we go. Man. Let's fucking go.
What's going on here? I mean,
what's the over/under on the ACC in the Sweet 16?
There we go. Well, NC State's
how many teams
losing.
do they have in? How many teams?
5.
They have 5.
So I probably set it at 5. They have
a 4 seed in Virginia and 2 5s in Miami and Duke.
Well, Furman's beating Virginia. NC State is
Furman's not beating Virginia.
They shouldn't even show up to the tournament. And
Pitt's fucking done in 48 hours.
So you got Duke. I got Oral Roberts beating Duke too. Look at me over here. All right, Terrell, what's your Final Four?
I will take Alabama, and then I will add. Man, fuck Houston. I'm taking Kent State. Give me Kent State in the Final Four.
There we go. Finally, someone with some cojones.
Yeah, no, everybody's going safe. Everybody's going safe. This
7
is
seed's not safe. What are you talking about?
Everybody's
I had a 5 seed.
All right.
I took all the Big 12.
Yeah.
13 seed makes it to the Final Four. All right, so Alabama, Kent State. What else is here? I will take, of course, Marquette. Gotta go with my guy Shaka. He finally gets his moment. Marquette gets the team back, gets back to the Final Four, and then for the final, UCLA. I think UCLA is a 1 seed. I think that the fact that they got a 2 seed, even though it is in the stacked West Conference, the fact that they are a 2 seed, they're going to use that and ride the momentum all the way to the Final Four. So UCLA, Alabama, Marquette, and Kent State.
Oh, I like it. All right. For mine, I got Michael Crichton is going to be in the Final Four. They can't play defense great, but damn if they can't score the ball. That bracket is easy. That bracket is easy on that side of it. I mean, obviously the Baylor matchup would be the one they got to get by. Didn't they play this year? I think they played this year. And then, I feel like they can. They're a perfect matchup to beat Arizona. I feel like they played what's that?
UCSB is also in that realm, right? They played each other in 2021, right?
That's right. Came down to the final shot of the game. So I got Michael Crichton in the South getting to the Final Four. On the other side of things, unfortunately, I do have the Houston Cougars because, future Big 12 team. I don't want to add into it. Mac already represents the Big 12 too much for me on this show, so, but I do think it's probably going to be Houston's year. I will say a Houston against Texas matchup would be very scary for anyone that takes Houston, I think. In the East, I will say this. Give me Penny Hardaway in Memphis. All right. I think that the South and the East are the two sides where we have no idea what's happening. Give me the Memphis Tigers go into the Final Four. And in the West, I got to back either TCU or UCLA, and I think the path is a little bit easier for UCLA. So give me UCLA out of the West.
Dude,
that is my.
I like Pete Keys and Beat said we should do a who's your Final Four where you can't pick 1 through 4 seeds.
Ooh, I already did it, so I guess I don't have to.
All right, let's do that real quick.
All right,
let's do
Final
that.
Four with no 1 through 4 seeds.
Mac, what do you got here? It can't be 1 through 4 seeds. Final four.
Oh well, Max got it easy.
Yeah, in the South, my Mountaineers, baby. That's a bad matchup for Alabama. Watch out.
I agree. That's a dangerous matchup for Bama because the style of play that they play at, slow it down. I feel like it could be a dangerous matchup. The question is, can Dub V get past the Maryland Terrapins, which I think is a tricky game too. So you got Dub V in the South,
and then I think I like Memphis with you as well. With the talent, it's a bad match for Purdue. In the other region going down, I don't really like any of these. You know what? I like Drake. We'll go Drake. The Bulldogs. I already said I think they could go to Sweet 16. And you know what? Ram it. Ramit's my other one. So VCU, Drake, Memphis, and West Virginia. That'd be a hell of a Final Four.
I love it. Noah, on the side of
come back to me. I'm in Raising Cane's. I'm still looking. I'm piecing together all the pictures of the bracket. I need about 1 more minute.
Okay. Nick, what are you doing here?
Give me Argyle's, San Diego State Aztecs.
Yeah, dang it, Nick.
They could, dude. I almost played that over Creighton.
Nice. I'll take the Buzzsaw, Texas A&M in the Midwest. Obviously Duke in the East, and VCU in the West.
I like it. That San Diego State thing is pretty interesting because I think that's another team that could be very interesting if they play Alabama. Because I think from an athletic standpoint, they almost kind of match up with them athletically. Maybe not from a skill set, scoring and stuff, but like from athletically, I feel like that would be an interesting matchup to watch. Terrell.
All right, in the South, we are going with our gal San Diego State. I'm not picking the Dukies. I don't care. Give me Memphis. I'll take Memphis.
There we go.
Memphis to make it out, even though I do really like that. That Florida Atlantic Memphis game is going to be really good. And in the Midwest, I already told you, Kent State is getting out. And for the West, I will pick Arkansas. My guy, Ricky Council Jr., shout out to them in Arkansas, Durham, North Carolina, Southern High School. Shout out to them. Shout out to my brother Mari, his coach. Yeah.
There we go.
Arkansas.
Going with the Razorbacks. So look, my South and East regions have already been, I took Michael Crichton, who's a 6 seed, and I took Memphis, who's an 8. It's really just Midwest and West for me. In the Midwest, I would go with, I think I'm going to go with Kent State here, but it's either them or Drake. I think I'll go Kent State, and it's got to be TCU in the West. I still feel like TCU, even though I've never seen Jamie Dixon get to a Final Four, I've never seen a team this good, from a Jamie Dixon's coach team. I've never seen this much talent on a roster for him. Yeah. So if any year, it's going to be this year for Dixon. And I still believe that they are capable of beating every single team in this tournament on any given day. So give me TCU. Noah, are you eating your 12 piece?
Original chicken sandwich from Raising Cane's.
There we go.
Give me shit. Now you got me thinking about my order, and I forgot about my fucking Final Four.
Oh my god!
I thought he said I forgot about my fries or something. I was like,
no. Hold on, I have it. I just got to pull up all the graphics again. Missouri out of the South.
Wow.
In the Midwest.
Ooh.
In the Midwest, it is Drake. And then in the West is Arkansas, and then the East is Michigan State, who I already had.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. All right, folks. Well, before we get to our the end of this thing, I want you right now. This is our what is it? The commercial timeout, the TV timeout, 5-minute break here. Get yourself on over to Spotify or iTunes and subscribe to the College Basketball Experience, because I see the analytics and something Something ain't smelling right. All right. I see all these people watching on YouTube, but I don't see the subscriptions. All right. Get on over there right now. iTunes, Spotify, the College Basketball Experience, and subscribe right now. We're just going to take a 5-second moment of silence for that. Takes 5 seconds. Ready? Boom. All right. You should be subscribed by now. If not, I don't know what to tell you. All
It's
right?
only 64 likes on the video with the one I just added.
What's going on? Get over there and like the video, folks. We are the College Basketball Experience. We have first off, we got a bunch of people here, so let's tout here. Subscribe to the College Football Experience, the College Baseball Experience, which Noah Bieniek, even though he's at Raising Cane's right now, he's covering right now. I guarantee you, when we hang up this episode, he's going to be looking at college baseball games. Check out the College Baseball Experience. Too. There you go. World Baseball Classic. He's got you covered. Then we have Moneyline Mac. You should be subscribed to the Ryan and Rush Show. You should be subscribed to the NFL Gambling Podcast. Then we got Terrell Furman Jr. You should be subscribed to the NBA Gambling Podcast. You should be subscribed to the WNBA Gambling Podcast. I know, Terrell, you're on a bunch of other stuff. You want to say anything else there?
NFL. Yeah. Fantasy. Here.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Just give him a follow on Twitter at @reallyRel__. NC Nick, he's with us on the College Basketball Experience, the College Football Experience. Even he does a lot of great work article wise over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Get the SGPN app. And also do not forget to check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. I will be on a show, I think, within the next hour talking college hoops there. So stick around, hop on over to the Sports Gambling Podcast, subscribe to them. Folks, it's the best time of year. All right. So until in 1 hour, about 1 hour or less than an hour, we will see you then. Get the SGPN app and come talk college hoops in the Discord too. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. All right, folks. Well, until then, this is the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
My celling's off, so I can't be found. I'm on a worldwide tour, touring every fucking curtain down. They say the Lord watches over my sins, over my head, watching hair as it thins. Over the ledge, it ain't letting me in. There's still regiments and relevance to letting me win. Win, lose or draw. You ain't prepared unless you all ready to lose it all. Losing a brawl? Yeah, that's a ride day. Good friends know my Nina Hideaway. They came and went, but the riders stay. So it's like I won the lottery and can't be found. Until I resurface with the latest purchase. 33 and a third and 45 circles. You ain't got that shit. And I ain't 45 king. But on the beats, I've been doing my thing. I start the program and the doorbell ring. I gotta leave town to a place I can't be found. My celling's off, so I can't be found. I'm on a worldwide tour, touring every fucking curtain down. American dreams, lessons, and still they work. I guess the sand on the beach still was really dirt. Now I'm going home, flying over Rome at 30,000 feet. Like, damn, is that really Earth? I see the killers work on walls, familiar turf. Got a little school in graph, 101 was first. Got a little school in math, didn't really work. But put the numbers on the block and I make them hurt. Any block is my stomping ground where my people lay low so they can't be found. They don't wanna be, ain't from the crew, but I'm honoring. Liquid, steady gang, solar sad, psycho harmony. Type of armory that's more than a shield. Type of